All right, welcome to folks who are joining. This is recording. Here we are with a whole lot of amazing people that just introduced themselves, talking about the projects they're doing internationally. And here I'm sharing my screen for all the questions that they would like to get asked today. And we're in a very basic QiqoChat event. I'll talk about the structure of it and some use cases of it. And if anybody has a specific question that's a follow-up to whatever I'm saying, please just interrupt. I can't see everybody on the screen, so just verbally interrupt me. That'll be just fine. So here we're in an event. And on the right side of the event, when you land here, you see a place where people can take notes. That's called Etherpad. On the left side, you see a whole bunch of rooms that you can go into. Everybody lands at the main room. And this is a default QiqoChat with one main room and 10 breakout rooms. It's created very quickly, automatically, once you create an event. Each of these rooms is connected to a Zoom meeting, and everybody who made it here is connected to a Zoom meeting. So you just click Join Video for Main Room, and you're in the Zoom meeting. There might be some questions down here in the live chat that people pop in. I can't look at all of them right now. So if I miss them, please do interrupt me. Some questions are we using a Google Doc right now? This is an Etherpad, and you'll see an example of how you could replace this with one or more Google Docs. Next, is there a way to introduce Google Translate VoiceOver into Kiko? Rahit, please help me think that through. We have not yet done anything like that. We would definitely want to co-innovate and make that happen. Please share your ideas for how to make that possible. You can hover over someone to get their profile picture. If you click on their name, you could send them an email one-to-one like that. So this is the first advantage of a social wrapper around Zoom meetings. Once this meeting is over, we have all the notes. The notes are easy to find because they're right where we met. And you have to do less tracking down of all your notes. Additionally, we don't just have one event. We have a circle of people. Say it's a conference, or it's an association, or it's a community group, and they want to have multiple events. All of those events show up on a calendar. So this is one event on a calendar. That's another way that we wrap Zoom with this social context of all the people in a circle that want one or more events. If you have any difficulty getting into Zoom, there's a help button here where you can connect by phone. You can even open Zoom in a new tab in case that button doesn't work. Some people, for their companies, cannot download Zoom. So you can open up Zoom inside the web browser. You have degraded functionality on Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer. For example, you need to call in by phone. But that helps people who want to join your events but are precluded from downloading Zoom. Next, we have additional instructions for people coming in from an iPad or tablet, and also regular phone. I created this event a few weeks ago, but now by default, all events are created with a Zoom password. So you would also see the Zoom password here. You don't have to enter the Zoom password. You just click the green button and it's taken care of automatically in the link. Okay, so this is what a simple QiqoChat looks like. Now let's take a look at one that's much more involved, that someone spent many, many hours thinking through. So we're going to look at the Internet Identity Workshop. I have their permission to do this because it's a public event. So they hold this event once every 6 months, and it's the first time they're holding it online because they cannot be meeting in person. Here are their sponsors. They have some fantastic sponsors for this event. They're charging their regular in-person price because people started paying that before coronavirus hit, and people were even signing up on day 2 of this 3-day conference at the regular price because it's such a tight-knit community. You could see that right now there's about 179 people that are present. You could see how many people are on video. In about 45 minutes, that's when they begin the opening session. There are 346 people that RSVP'd. These people RSVP'd through Eventbrite, and then with an integration that I can help you with, every time they pay you on Eventbrite, they immediately become invited to your event here on QiqoChat. So that's how you can have a private event on Kiko, and you collect all the money yourself directly through Eventbrite. You pay us 60 cents per hour per person. That is 1 penny per minute per person, because we have to pay Zoom half of that. That covers our server costs and all the improvements that we keep making to the platform. So once again, 60 cents per hour per person when people are on Zoom. If we go into the event space, you'll see it looks similar to the one that we have here, although there's much more that she added. Heidi Nobantu Saul is the facilitator. She's been doing this for many years. So because she knows this community and it's a technical audience, she knew that they were ready for this additional level of intricacy. So we'll click participate now, and we land at the opening circle. You can see there's a lot of people at the opening circle, which starts, again, people are just on there early now. So we're in the opening circle. Here's a picture of the last opening circle they had 6 months ago, and that was in person. Here's the link to join Zoom. On the right-hand side, she has an announcements tab here, and there's other tabs across the top. You can make this as intricate or as simplistic as you'd like. So on day 3, this is the view only tab. She has a blank agenda that people are going to populate. Now, a neat thing that I learned by helping her with this event is when you get over 75 people on a Google spreadsheet, people start losing access. So we created 2 documents that you're going to see when this starts. There'll be an editable tab up here. So people edit the editable tab, and you'll have less than 75 people editing at any given time. And the edits are going to show up live here on the Google Doc. But you also don't have to get this complex. Let's say we were back here in our event today, and I wanted to make a breakout room for all of the topics that you have just posted here. I will put one in each breakout room. So I'll clean them up a little bit as the facilitator, or maybe I have an assistant for the event, and I'm just going to copy them with a regular copy. And go over here to admin controls, set the topics for the breakout rooms, and paste them in. So in a moment, you'll see all the topics update here. So now we have different topics in different rooms. So these are exactly the topics that you proposed. If you wanted to go discuss that topic, you could pop into that room when we head to breakout sessions. As the facilitator, the next tool that you might want to use is under admin controls and timer. So let's say we're going to speak about each of those topics for 30 minutes, then the timer will populate here, and it counts down for everybody across all the breakout rooms. There it goes. All right. And so that gives you the basic characteristics of an open space, where everybody starts at the main room. You ask people what they want to discuss. You state the places where they could break out. We have a lot of topics, so you could cut this into round 1 and also round 2. Round 2, we'd say whatever your local time zone is, that'll start at 10 a.m. Round 1, 9 a.m. And for a peer-to-peer knowledge sharing event, people are off to the races and sharing about the topics they want. They know that round 2 is going to change at 10 a.m. and we'll just update all the breakout spaces there. So I have a whole lot of questions to answer for you, but let me pause here and see if there's any follow-up specifically about anything that I have just shown.
Yes, so if you have the 30-minute time limit, does the room just close after the 30 minutes and people get chucked out and come back into the main room?
Fantastic question. Just like an in-person open space, the space stays open. We don't shut the room down. What happens is people start coming in, and now if you're so engrossed in that conversation, you start to realize that your time, the reason people are coming in is because the new session is about to start. So if you need more time to talk, just like a regular open space event, you go take it into the hallway. So here, as the administrator, I would put a few more hallway 1, hallway 2, hallway 3.
Are these breakout rooms integrated in Zoom, or are they separate from the Zoom breakout rooms?
They are exactly the same thing that we joined here. They each have their own Zoom breakout room.
Or to be more specific, I understood last time, Lucas, that it is a Zoom call on its own, because in every room you create here, you have a Zoom call and you can do even breakout sessions there.
Okay, this is an advanced question. So every one of these has its own green button that will open a Zoom meeting. By default, that Zoom meeting can accommodate 300 people. We can help you get it up to 1,000 if you want. We have to pay Zoom extra for that. Just let us know well ahead of your event. And now it's Simona has asked a great question about what about Zoom breakouts inside one of these? And every Zoom meeting has the capability for Zoom breakouts where you can send people to a breakout and you can pull them back. That's the standard Zoom breakout functionality. Maybe if you've ever been on a Zoom call with breakouts, you've gotten broken out into groups of 3 or 2, and then the facilitator will pull you back. So you can use both that and the Kiko breakouts. So I have to say it again because it's a complex idea. I can go to room 2. So I'll click room 2 and I'll see this is the topic. And here are the room 2 notes. And people will be typing down here. And then when I click this button, I will be prompted to join Zoom, and it's a separate Zoom meeting from the one that all of us are here at the main room. And if you're a host in that Zoom meeting within room 2, and you've got 100 people, you can break those 100 people into breakout rooms just in Zoom. And the difference there is you can push them into the breakout rooms and you can pull them back. With these Kiko rooms, people move themselves. So if they move themselves into room 2, and if you're the facilitator in room 2, you have regular Zoom functionality. So everything you got in Zoom, you also have here. You can connect these green buttons to a Zoom webinar or a Zoom meeting. The difference with a Zoom webinar is that you have most people come in as attendees and they cannot speak. They have to be promoted to panelists. We can talk more about that. Any more specific questions about what I've shown here? Thank you for those.
I missed step 0. How did you get the Etherpad in the middle of the room? Because I tried on my own to create a QiqoChat meeting and I failed. I just didn't make it. I didn't know how to create it.
Great question. So everybody can go to, we are at learn.QiqoChat.com. This is the Learn circle. A circle, again, is for a group of people. So here is our event today. You can see the topics are posted. And I'm going to create a new event here. So this would be just an example event. And I'll set it for the past, April 10th. And this is all you have to do is just create just an example event, click schedule. So I'll look for it, just an example event, April 10th. And then when you go here, you'll see it's already set up for you with the Etherpads. You don't have to do anything. It's going to have 10 breakout rooms by default, and each one has an Etherpad, and each one has a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, that's the point where I failed, because I wanted to change the Etherpad in another Google Doc, and I created rooms with names. And when I refreshed, everything was just gone. I was not able to put something in the middle, this Etherpad or another doc. That's why I'm asking. I saw this setup, and it was all screwed up by just changing something.
Let's give it a shot right now. Let's say I have an example Google Doc.
Yeah.
I will take, let's say, this document here. We'll create a new one. I'll stop sharing my screen for just a moment. Okay. I'll resume sharing. So I've got a new Google Doc on my screen. And you do that when you go to drive.google.com. You can create a new document, spreadsheet, presentation, drawing, also create a new drawing. And this will be example, Google Doc. All right, the next thing you have to do on Drive is click Share and say anybody with the link can edit. Or maybe you want to lock it down to just your internal team. So you control access from Google. And you can also control access from Kiko, but they overlap to be more powerful than any one individually. So you take this document and we'll go into our example event. And because you just created the event, click Edit.
Yep.
And you'll see everything we saw before where I just typed just an example event, a description, start time, duration. And I want more options here. Customize the number of breakout spaces, add a name for your breakout spaces. So we'll call this one opening circle at the top. Then we'll say red, room, blue, room, green, room, etc. Then if you want to add these notes pages, I'll just paste in the Google Doc. So we have a really good doc. Well, I'll just paste in the Google Doc right here. So at the main table, we're now going to put our Google Doc. There's a lot of other text that you can go through and we can answer any questions about that. But let's just go take a look at that change. So now when you come back in, here's the Google Doc that we created on this other tab. And just by pasting in the link, now it shows up instead of the Etherpad. And you would paste in one doc per line, and that's how you get one doc for each of these rooms. So once again, I'll go back in, I click Edit, and more options, and then I can just keep pasting different documents. Let's say I want to put that Google drawing here. So example Post-its. I will share it with everybody who has the link. Click Edit, done. And let's say we want to put some Post-its on here. This will be an example Post-it, maybe make it more of a Post-it color. And I've got the link, I paste it in. So this is for the main room.
Question, it says note pages for the main space and each breakout. Breakout means room.
Yes.
In QiqoChat language, okay.
Yes, and you can call it room, you could call it table, you can call it garden, any word that you like. And in fact, you could change it. Instead of room, let's call it table. So they could be breakout tables if you want that, or a different word that works for you.
How does it know which link that you want to put for which
Thank you for that question. So the first one is going to be at the top. That's for your first space, which will be your main space where people land by default. Then the second one is going to be for the next space. And then you could put a third. So all these other ones down here are going to be empty. So they just get an Etherpad.
Okay.
So just keep pasting the links going down, down, down. And this will explain it. You don't have to memorize all this. We put the tips right here. So it explains Kiko provides a default notes page for every breakout, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so I know I'm going fast, but we bake in the instructions right into the form. And anything that you do find confusing, just reach out to me and we'll make it better. So again, we have the Google Doc here on the right. When we go to the next room, then we've got the Post-its. And anybody can start editing them. And you could do everything you want to do with Post-its on a wall in person, you can now do with Google Drawings. And that is a free tool. Any questions about what you've seen there? I know we have a lot of questions to get through that you've already written down, and I promise we will get through them.
Lucas, just a quick question. Will you make this recording available to us afterwards?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
So let's say you wanted to share something with the people who were in your event. You go back to the RSVP page. This is my circle. The event is in this circle called Learn About QiqoChat. And I go back to the RSVP page, and I can email everybody that was present right here. So that's how you would do it as a facilitator. All right, let's get back to a lot of our questions here. What are the advantages of Etherpad versus Google Doc? Etherpad is not going to work with probably 75 people, whereas Google Docs will be editable by 75 people at the same time. I don't know the limits of Etherpad yet, but we're going to be testing that coming up on another open space experiment where I've met some of you. That'll be posted in the Liberating Structures community of practice. I've signed up and I wish to hold a conference, also having a whiteboard. What do I do? Hopefully we just covered it there, where you create the Google Docs or the Google Drawings, and then you copy the link and you put them into QiqoChat, making sure that if you want them to be public, when you're in Google Drive, you would set them so that anyone who has the link can edit it. How do I get the document in the middle of the main room? What types are possible? Any type of document that allows embedding is possible. There's the two popular ones that are not possible that people ask about will be Mural and Miro. So I'll just say most except for Mural and Miro. Can we wallpaper rooms with ideas or actions already discussed? Let's see. So let's say I want to know who wrote this question. I would go over here and try to match the color. We have so many people today, it's going to be hard. So whomever wrote that question, can you please ask me with a little more context where you say, can we wallpaper the rooms with ideas or actions already discussed? What do you have in mind?
Hey, it's Claire from A Time to Heal in London. That was my question, and it's because we're looking to run a conference over multiple days, weeks, possibly even months, where people can come back. Where I guess the rooms kind of remain static, so the people can create new ones, but the old ones are still there, and everything that was raised as an idea is kind of left up on the wall for new people to come and look at what was already discussed.
Thank you, Claire. The way I would suggest doing that, and maybe others would have some other suggestions too, is what they're doing up here at the IIW conference, create multiple tabs. So people land, they're gonna see the tab on the left by default, but then you can have wallpaper that you've used. It would be all your events, your notes from previous days. That's what they're doing here with Agenda Day 2, Agenda Day 1. I think that would be a good solution. Additionally, at the top of your document, when you welcome people, if you just wanted to do it with a single document, you could link out to your previous notes. All of these artifacts are Google Docs, so they live outside of QiqoChat too. Even if you close QiqoChat, you still have all those docs. All right,
right. That makes sense. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Next question we've got, if we're running a rolling event over many days or even weeks with new people joining all the time, how do we allow themes to be built over time rather than kind of going around in circles? This could be more of a advanced, how do you design the event? And that is how do we work with people to make sure that they're gonna create topics that others are gonna be interested in? So that's an art rather than a science. But once you figure out your process, then you put an agenda like this inside QiqoChat, and then people can fill it out. The key is forming a great invitation so that people know what is to be discussed and what is not to be discussed. And generally, I think that all the right topics will be brought up. And if someone brings up a topic that others are not interested in, there'll just be very few people in that room, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the right people show up for that conversation. Can we have breakout rooms in a Kiko breakout room? And so we talked about how you can have Zoom breakouts in that Zoom meeting. Every one of these gets its own Zoom meeting. We talked about Google Translate. Please let me know what you turn up with that. If you want to do something that's multi-language in Zoom, there are some ways to do closed captioning. So please Google Zoom closed captioning to see what's possible. Anything that you integrate into Zoom, if it's special and you need it integrated into your Kiko room, please let us know ahead of time. We likely can make that possible because it is a Zoom meeting under the hood. Can we use this space to draw? So I think that these virtual Post-its and these other tools would be a simple way to do it. Google Jamboard is a great tool for drawing. That one does not permit embedding, but most pages on the internet will permit embedding. Just copy the link and test it out the same way we embedded that drawing tool. Can you use different tools in the same room, such as Etherpad and Google Docs? The answer is yes. You can put them on multiple tabs. Can all Google tools? Oh, go ahead, please.
How do I do these tabs?
Okay, let's go back to the example and make it a little more complex. So this one is our example event. click Edit, and more options. This is where we pasted in first the Google Drawing, and then, correction, the Google Doc, then the Google Drawing. So I'll call this one Agenda. So you put the name and then a colon. Let me zoom in so you could see it. So you put the name of it and then a colon. And for this one, we'll say Draw. So it's the name of the tab and then a colon. So that's going to separate the name from the link. You don't have to memorize this. Just click More Info and it's going to be explained. The only thing that you have to do, which is a little hard, is you got to put both of these on the same line so that QiqoChat knows you don't want it for different spaces. So you put it on the same line. How do you do that? Just go to the left here and click back. So now I'm over here and just put one space between them. That space is critical. It's going to tell us that these are two tabs. And this is the name of tab 2. And then on the other side of the colon, this is the link for tab 2. So the advantage, so this is a little complex, but the advantage is that you set up your space ahead of time, you copy it all and save it on your computer. And then you do it again to set up what you want for day 2. And you do it again for day 3 if you have a multi-day event. So set it up, no one's there, you put it in, you test it, and you make sure that it is the way you want it to be. So let me go down and click Update. And we go into our space and make sure that it looks the way we want. And sure enough, Agenda is tab 1, Draw is tab 2, and that is the way we want it. So go back in, save it to your computer, and get your next configuration right so that, let's say you've got an 8-hour event, and every 2 hours you're going to be changing all the documents, and there's 100 documents for 100 breakout rooms. Copy it all, save it on your computer, and then when it's time, you just copy, paste it in, click Save, and it just, for the next person that loads the page, they'll see what you wanted.
This all seems to be depending on Google. So what if you can't use Google?
I saw a question like that. What if you cannot use Google, for example, in China? So you could use Etherpad. That's one example.
So you can make tabs with Etherpad.
You can make a tab with almost every tool. You can embed the New York Times in here. You could embed your own website in here.
Are there any drawing tools that you can use that are not Google?
I don't have any additional drawing tools that I work with. I find that the Google Drawing is the one I go to because it does not require anybody to sign in and it's free. If you find a tool that works for you, please let me know. So the next time someone asks me that question, I've got an even better answer. There are some additional tools from Kiko that you can put in here. I'll show one example from the Linux Foundation. Their conference drew about 150 people. These are people that were talking about the technology that underpins these communication infrastructures from big technology companies like Verizon. It's an open source. This is a public event, so that's why I'm sharing it. I click Participate Now, and here, this is a QiqoChat blog post. So every circle, so you can embed those kinds of things in here too. So QiqoChat, again, is a circle that has a calendar. A calendar has many events. A QiqoChat circle has a weekly newsletter. It has blog posts. It has written conversations. So you can embed those tools in here. An advanced way to go is create a written conversation, which is also a listserv. People are responding via email, and that's happening before your event begins. Then you embed that conversation right into your live event, so people can be discussing what they were emailing about over the past few weeks. So any type of tool, try embedding it, and you're just wrapping it with a Google, you're wrapping it with a Zoom meeting.
So one of the things that I'm struggling with now, I mean, you're showing your screen, so I don't have to actually see that page. But if we have an event in which a speaker is presenting something and so sharing their screen, how can we interface with both at the same time? So
if the presenter is sharing their screen, then when Zoom goes to share screen, it usually takes up the full screen. So you could simulate that right now. Whereas let's say you wanted to be looking at another page online. First, you want to get exit out of full screen in Zoom. So you kind of got to go towards the top of the screen. At least this is how it is for me. And there's a drop down and you click exit full screen. Once you're out of full screen, you can move that to the side and you could put your other document on the other side of your page. One complexity about Zoom and QiqoChat is that they are like this. So you have to either put them side by side or you just have to be okay at looking at one at any given time.
Okay. And how do people move from one room to another?
Let's try. So just click on the room and your page changes. And then you have a new Zoom meeting here. Once you click that button, I'll go ahead and click it now. Your browser is going to come up with this pop-up, which says open Zoom, and you click yes. It's the same pop-up that you went through already to get into this meeting. If I'm already in a Zoom meeting, there will be a second pop-up, and that pop-up is going to say, you are already in a Zoom meeting. Do you want to leave that one and go to the next one? And then you say yes or no. That second pop-up sometimes is hard to find. Zoom actually hides it behind its own application sometimes. So if someone's stuck, just say, they'll be with you in the opening session, and you just say, you can't find it, please close Zoom and click the green button again, and it'll work because it worked for everybody that came in here already. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. All right, let's see next. I'm moving Zoom out of the way.
So when somebody clicks the button and they're not in their original breakout room, they'll be in the main room, and if there's somebody there that can help them?
We recommend that you should have somebody in the main room to receive people throughout your entire event.
Okay. So, but so that if I'm in room one and I click to go to another room, I will first go to the main room?
You don't have to. You can go directly to the next room.
Okay.
If the main room is the place where you've got the agenda, then maybe someone will come back there to consult the agenda. Okay, next. We talk, what if you can't use Google? Can you make tabs if you use Etherpad? Yes. Can you use different tools in the same room? Yes. Can Google tools be embedded in Kiko? I'd say not Jamboard. Hopefully in the future it can be. And can Miro be embedded? No. True. How do admin controls and panel works? What possibility is there to design a page in a room? So admin controls and admin panel, we'll click on that. We already talked about set the topics for the breakout rooms, and we already talked about setting the timer. You can also notify people. So I'll say 5 minutes remaining. And that'll pop up on the screen like that. But it'll pop up in Kiko, won't pop up in Zoom. So if people are engrossed in their conversation, they're going to miss it. So that's why you have this timer counting down here. View all breakout notes. I'll click this, and it'll show you the notes for all of your breakout rooms. There's the main room. There's room 1, which we haven't entered yet. You saw that we came to room 2 earlier in this call. Right? So that's how you could see what's going on. It disconnects you from these notes when you open those, so you just have to click to reconnect. Because Etherpad will only let you be connected to the same pad once. Then you can also go to Fullscreen Chat, so you could see all these chat messages in a full screen. It also has a, I'll click on that here, Fullscreen Chat. So if you want to have sound, so we're using that for the Internet Identity Workshop, where they have one person in the opening circle at all times. They have one person in the documentation center at all times to collect notes from all the different sessions. And they even have someone in the gardens, which is an external space. People just want to take a walk online in some beautiful gardens. That's another space. We'll see if we talk about that. You can assign people to breakouts. I could do that here. Let's say we want 4 people per table. I click save, and you'll see your names are going to pop up here in a little bit. So now you would know which breakout to go to. This is where people have to move themselves. So with Zoom, you could push and pull people from different breakouts. And here, if you want to let them walk, you could do that with Kiko. assign people to breakouts. So you could do something like 1, 2, 4, all, which is liberating structure. Have people think about a topic on their own, have them think about it in pairs, have them think about it as foursomes, and then bring everybody back. You can also push a website so that everybody sees it on their screen at the same time. It'll just show up right here.
Brings us to another question. If we talk about liberating structures, if you have an impromptu networking, for example, and you're 50 people, then you need 25 rooms if you don't want to put them into breakouts, like Zoom breakouts from the main room. And I would love to do that because they are independent then and can choose a partner as they would do in live events. Is that possible?
Yes, so here we're experimenting with something called Jitsi, an open source tool. Let me see if we had about 10 facilitators testing this out. So let's see.
Yeah, everybody in Germany says you should use Jitsi because nobody trusts Zoom in Germany. They're all about data and security. So I heard about that.
So here is Jitsi in the browser in a Kiko breakout room. So you've got the notes down below. And if there's 10 people, we'll all be next to each other side by side. So it won't be so big. Then you could, this is how easy it is to jump to a breakout. So with Zoom, we saw there was 4 clicks. With Jitsi, I'm gonna go to the kitchen in 1 click. I wanna do impromptu networking in living room, go living room, 1 click. So this is coming soon. This is
okay, but my question was how many rooms are possible? Because if you have a large group and you need half of it for rooms because you do a 2-person impromptu networking, then there's going to be a lot of rooms in Jitsi or Zoom.
We'll go 100 rooms created instantly. All I did is I updated that number to 100.
Great, really great.
And now I got to clear out this topic. Let's see. Admin controls, set the topics. Currently there's 3 topics, so it's limiting the number of breakout rooms. So click save, and then.
Great.
So then there's 100 rooms.
Great, yeah.
All right, so Jitsi's coming soon. Is it possible to use illustration on any of the tools? So whatever tool you'd like to use on the internet, send it to me, lucas@QiqoChat.com, and I'll give you an answer about whether it works or not. And you can also just try it yourself. Let me zoom in so you can see a little bit better. So,
is there a way for us to play with this ourselves so we can sort of experiment with what the functionality is?
absolutely. Here is the link to do that. And I'm going to get you slightly better organized notes. When we went back to today's event was posted in the Learn QiqoChat circle, and we have some previous events down here. I have some good resources that I'm going to copy and paste right now for you. So these are just helpful links. How to create your own Kiko homepage, how to create your own test event in our example circle so you don't have to pay anything, just test it out. Create a new circle of your own, the user guide which includes videos, a PDF with all the offerings on Kiko, my contact information, join a Google group that's pretty active of people talking about Kiko and things that they're learning. If you're a facilitator, you might want to join some of these circles on Kiko. We're translating into about 6 languages now. That should be live shortly. So I'm going to copy all these links, paste it into the document that we have today, which is over here. I'm putting it at the bottom of all your questions.
And if we just go to the event again in the future, we can see all of these?
Exactly. That's one of the advantages of over just Zoom alone, is that the record is here for anyone to come before the meeting and or after. So.
And I can take away permission for the docs I embedded here after the conference ends, so nobody can do something to the results.
Absolutely. It could be editable when the event is on, and then read only later.
Great. Yeah. Understood.
Any visual tools that work in China, please share with me what you find out. I don't have an answer to that, unfortunately. Tips to avoid Zoom security breaches. So we offer the same level of protection that Zoom does, which password protecting every meeting. Now, by putting it in, when you share a QiqoChat link, people that are looking to harm a Zoom meeting are not looking for QiqoChat links. So it's easier to share those links more securely, because if you shared a Zoom link with a password and a QiqoChat link, people aren't expecting to get into a Zoom meeting through QiqoChat because we're such a small company. So that's one way to be more obscure, using Kiko as your wrapper. Also with Kiko, you can make it a private circle. So when you edit your circle, you could say only people with these approved email addresses, or only people that register with Eventbrite. You will need my help to connect Eventbrite or Cvent, but it is completely possible. How do you see the Zoom interface and see this chat document at the same time? So I would say, drag this to the right, and QiqoChat's going to shrink down. You'll see the breakout spaces and then the notes below it. So put it side by side is my best recommendation. And then get Zoom out of full screen and put Zoom on the other side of the screen. I'm not sure how you bring Google Doc into this space. Okay, I think we answered that one now. How does someone move from one room to another? So an open space, it's the law of 2 feet. Here, it's the law of 2 clicks. Again, it's click on room 4. Then when you get there, it's going to say join video for room 4. So 2 clicks, and then there's 2 pop-ups also, one from the browser and one from Zoom. And you can go back in the recording to see us do that earlier. What are the key features of QiqoChat? QiqoChat.com/tools talks about a dozen tools that we have. Can we record each room conversation on the Zoom cloud? You can only record it to your desktop, but if it's very important that you want to record it to the cloud, contact us and we might be able to set it up the way that Zoom lets us edit meetings. I'm not sure if we have that permission or not, but we can give it a try. How can we navigate between the gardens and the breakout rooms? So over here in this event, Internet Identity Workshop, they connected their gardens. So the gardens is this external space. Think of this as all the internal meeting rooms that they have. And if you want to go take a walk, click Gardens. Please contact me if you want your gardens to be displayed in your event. It's pretty uncommon. Here, we built it because she just didn't want a circle. She wanted just one event for her circle. Like the circle is not going to live on past the 3-day event. When it comes for the next one in 6 months, they create another circle. But here's what the gardens look like. So it's just more breakout rooms with photos that you want. You could put sponsors up there, but this is the idea. Customized places that are always on for your circle, so people can come here at any time to talk. During her conference, she has one person posted here to always welcome people, but each of these is just simple. If you want to go to this other gardens where no one's is, and you want to set the topic, just click enter. So you enter the garden, and then you click join video. And if you want to set the topic, click that pencil icon up there. So let's say you're done talking here. This is for impromptu networking in the hallway during a conference. I want to go to this garden, click the garden, and click join video. All right, so that's just more spaces for your event. I would not suggest starting with both the gardens and an event until your people are more comfortable there, but you can have an event right in the garden. So we have some groups that customize all these background images. Once you create a circle, the garden is created instantly. You'll pop in your credit card and you get 1,000 free minutes. So that link for creating a circle is right down here. Create a circle of your own, and then gardens are there automatically. You can turn them off if you like. How to use flashcards.
Sorry, Lucas.
Pretty simple. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, how can you customize the garden, the background images, and the titles?
Thank you, Martin.
The instruction for each garden.
Here is how you do that. You click My Event Design Templates. It's up here in your main menu. And let's find Gardens. So Gardens is a template that I've created that everybody has access to. This is what a template looks like. It's simply all your breakout spaces and all your images. All right, so that's how you create a new one. Click New Template. Once again, My Event Templates, and then New Template. When you're editing your event, let's go to edit our event. I'm going to click edit on the event. When you're editing the event, go down to more options and then look for template. You might want to search in your browser because there's so much text on the page, but there it is. It's under show hide features, and you could select which template you want to apply. So if I want to apply the gardens to this template, if the template of the gardens to this event, I'll click update. And then when I return into the event, I will see the garden photos alongside. So that's how you can customize. And it's the same for your gardens. When you're in your gardens, there's an edit button and you can apply the template.
Thank you.
How to use the flashcards. Flashcards are a pretty simple tool. I can't go into the detail of the flashcards because it's not worth the time. I don't think it's a fantastic tool, but it's good enough if you want flashcards in your circle. Very few people use them. Is 60 cents per hour. Oh, and if you want the answer, click on Google QiqoChat.com/tools, and you can see all the tools, including the flashcards. Is the 60 cents per minute per hour the only cost? There's one additional cost if you have a private circle or a private event, and that's $1 per person. If it's a private event, it's $1 per person. If it's a private circle, it's $1 per person per month. Can you offer a flat rate for frequent users? Yes, when you customize, when you create your circle, there's something like 20% off approximately if you buy a monthly subscription. So it's exactly what you're looking for. You say, I need 100 hours, or I think the rates are $25, $50, and $100 per month. And you're buying your minutes ahead of time, and then you get something like it's approximately 15–20% discount. QiqoChat is not tested for screen reader accessibility. It's important, but we have not done it. We're a small team and would love to do it, but we cannot do it at this time. So screen readers are for people that have very limited sight. I used to work at the New York Public Library where this was a tremendous priority, so I'm fully on board with how important that is. We have not yet done it. How to go into the gardens here or any other circle. So right now, the gardens is your home page. So if you go to the homepage of any circle, you will see the gardens. When you create a circle, you're going to end up in the gardens. Just reiterate, the question was about circles, subcircles, and breakout rooms. So with circles for a group of people, you can have a subcircle, which can be, so let's say your circle is for everybody in your trade association, and your subcircle can be for all members of the communications division, or all members that work on technology. So you could have subcircles within your overall circle. Why would you want subcircles? Well, every circle or subcircle has its own calendar. So people who are interested in technology out of your big circle might just be interested in that subcircle's calendar. So that just makes the notifications more relevant to them. Can you customize the description of each garden circle breakout, not just the images? Yes, you can. You can do that either from your template, and you can also override it when you're in the circle. All right, we're 2 minutes over, but I'm going to stay on to answer any additional questions. I very much appreciate everyone's time today. The floor, so I'll let anyone say goodbye if they have to go, and I'll stay here to answer any additional questions.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Pleasure to meet you. My contact information is on that event, and in the notes, you're also going to receive the screen recording when this is complete later today.
Thank you, Lucas. That was a wonderful session, and we have received a lot of value. Thanks, and look forward to the conference soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Arun. Me too.
Thank you, Lucas. That was really informative. Thank you so much.
And we absolutely welcome your feedback for how to make onboarding easier. So the only reason that a lot of these tools are here is because someone asked for them. So please ask for something, and then we'll put it in the roadmap if it can be used by other facilitators.
Sure. Thank you, Lucas. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucas.
All right, I'll take additional questions here. So just please go ahead and speak them out. I see some notes in the chat. Let me see if I can answer them. Okay, it doesn't look like any questions that needed. Will Jitsi cost the same? Jitsi is going to cost less. We don't know how much. We're not going to be billing per minute. It'll probably be a monthly subscription.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that because, for example, if I meet other facilitators, usually we do a Zoom call and it's quite okay. But if I want to like promote QiqoChat, I would love to use something like QiqoChat with all of my colleagues, but I can't do this if every time we meet it costs.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you know what I mean. Zoom is, I don't know, 13 euros per month. So I don't have to charge my customer anything. And I like your tool a lot, and it's much more advanced. I know, I really know, and I appreciate that. And you have to pay your bills as well, but it's simply like I can't just scale it up and say, well, we have a team workshop. How many hours will we be online, and charge them in advance? At the moment, they all like the idea. Oh, we pay a facilitator because we don't have room costs. You know what I mean? We have to go online. Well, a big disadvantage, but we save the cost per room. And this is simply too expensive for my customers, and I can't do it for them. I can do the Zoom account for them, never mind, but not. And I don't want to feel like pity if more participants come. The more the merrier, but the more expensive that doesn't work. So I'm really looking forward to Jitsi.
Great. And Simona, I think it's going to be great because you already have a Zoom account, and it's likely that with the Jitsi form of our tool, you can use your own Zoom account for your main room. So you can have 100 people there, and then they break out into smaller groups in Jitsi.
Yeah, that would be lovely. That would be really lovely. Let us know about that.
Will do. I encourage you to join the Google group. You're very welcome.
Useful.
Thanks, Nadia.
You. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Lucas, I heard something in an earlier session about a different price for nonprofits. Could you say something about that?
We haven't established anything formal, but we're willing to say 20% discount for nonprofits. Just please ask us about that. If you have an event that you're not charging, if you're not an organization, you're a community organizer, and you're doing a free event for the good of your community, and then we ask that you just cover our costs. So there's even one level down. We'll bill you what Zoom bills us.
Is it only for public events, or you know, we have a meeting for commissioners, for example, but we're all a nonprofit, so, and we're not earning anything of it? Would that still be eligible, or only for public
events? If the organization has a budget and pays people salary, then we would ask that they also help us get stronger too. But if there's no way to do an event, and your choices are, don't use Kiko or ask Kiko for a discount, please ask us for a discount. And we're not going to let pricing get in the way, because we make so little off your meetings anyway that right now it's just important that we put the tool in your hands. And we make 30 cents per hour per person. So, and well, that's just what we make on top of Zoom, but out of that comes all our server costs and everything else. So it's important at this stage that we just put the tool in your hand.
Yeah, thanks.
You're very welcome. I'll pause the recording here. There's a great question asked here. What are the recommendations for people that are using it for the first time? So I'm sharing my screen with you. I'm going to go back to this IIW event. And here, all these 347 people that registered had never used QiqoChat before. Maybe 5% of them or 2%, something very small. So you could see how many people uploaded their profile icon. We encouraged them to come to some sessions before the event began. And people are paying a lot of money for this event, up to $450 for this event, because it was an in-person event originally and very few people canceled. In fact, more people registered for this than they would have had for the in-person event. And people came to the happy hours that we held to orient people to the technology. So rather than people trying to get in right at the moment before the opening session, it would have been very frustrating. We had because it's such a large event of over 300 people, 4 half-hour sessions spread out the week prior. That helps a lot. If you want to pay us an hourly rate, let us know. We will create a custom video for your circle. Also, a lot of people just do simple screen recordings. So they'll set up their space, record for free on their own computer, and post it to YouTube, and make a 2-minute video of, here's the space. If it's your first time on QiqoChat, you'll see it's the time, the name. Click participate now. Once you get here, then here's our event. So some other suggestions: have a Zoom call that people can call into with their phone or just directly from their computer if they're having any trouble at all. And we were going to use a telephone number where people can call and get on a queue, but we realized for an event of 330 plus people, let's have one Zoom call. Everybody's used to Zoom. Then they come in there and maybe there are 4 people at any given time. We're answering them one at a time. And all that we had to do for this event was, for some law firms that had spam protection that weren't getting our emails, we just had to confirm their email addresses manually. So that was something that we did to help. We don't want to do that every time. So what we're creating is a way for them to send an email to QiqoChat to confirm their email. And then that just reduces the friction even more. So we're trying to make this as seamless as possible. My best recommendation is create a social event before your collaborative event to let people try the tool out and get comfortable with it.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask you to summarize? I logged in later and I apologize. What's the price for 50 people in a month? They meet for 3 hours, 4 times.
Okay, so I just think of what is the per user cost. So they're going to meet for three times 4 hours.
No, they're going to meet 4 times, every time for 3 hours.
Okay, 4 times for 3 hours is 12 hours per person.
Right.
And so the per person cost, 12 hours times 0.6 is $7.02 per person per month.
But if the event is open over the month and you have these like events, but they can come in every time and use the video, they will produce costs if they chat in your event.
Yes, so you can turn that off if you want, but I think that you can turn off events, you can change the privacy of it, but I think that very rarely happens. And if it's just one person, so one person comes in to turn the video on, Zoom doesn't charge us, so we don't charge you.
No, the background of my question is different because I have an upcoming event and would like to try out QiqoChat, but there will be a written part 1 week. There is no meeting. And the second week, there will be like 6 meetings. But if the event is open and everybody is writing and they see, oh, they're writing, they will start Zoom calls in the event. And I can't prevent that.
You can't prevent that, but I think the answer is to charge them more money because
it's a non-profit organization working with Africa, Europe, something. I can charge them anything for the room.
Okay.
So if they would do it and pay the price, they have to know in advance how much it is. And then we have like to turn off video options for 1 week. Otherwise it will get very expensive.
I think the Jitsi solution is going to be the best option there.
Yeah.
And that won't be ready for another week or 2.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hi.
What I wanted to ask is what is the connection between the circles and an event?
One circle, and I'll share my screen again. So this event here's the name of the event.
Your screen's not shared?
Yeah, screen's not shared.
Thanks.
Thank you for letting me know. So here is the event. It happens on this date, and it is in this circle. Click menu, and you can see all the tools of the circle. So a circle has the gardens, and you could turn it off. A circle has a member directory, so you could see where all your members are, and you could search for them. And a circle has a calendar, and you could rename it. They call it session schedule. For extra, we can connect it to a Google Calendar for you. So you can put in all your events. When someone creates an event on Kiko, it goes into the Google Calendar, and then people don't even have to come to Kiko to be notified of it. They just click Google Calendar and it comes directly to their Google Calendar once they integrate the two. So that's an ideal solution for a community to just stay notified of what's going on in your circle.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll add one more thing. So on your calendar, you've got multiple events. So to specifically answer your question, one circle has one calendar, and other tools. And on that calendar, you can have multiple events. Some can be a 3-day conference. Others can be a happy hour for a few hours.
And the maximum, and sorry, the maximum for concurrent breakouts, you said is 100?
100.
100, thank you.
We can go higher, but we haven't tested that.
Sure.
When you create an event, is it automatically public or private?
The way I think of it is, am I creating it in a public or private circle? So when I create a circle, I have that choice. I'll just go to QiqoChat.com/new. That's one of the links that I shared down below. When you create the circle, you just put in a name and you say, I want it to be at lucas-test.QiqoChat.com or whatever you like. That's all that I would recommend doing when you're testing out a circle. So it's very quick. If you want to get more advanced, you can make it a subcircle, and then there's maybe 75 more options down here. Let's say member access and assistant administrators. If you want it to be private, restrict access to members with the following email addresses, click yes, and then put their email addresses in here. So now only people who you authorize and confirm their email can come to any of your events.
And can you charge them for entrance, like through a mechanism like this, like meaning as they come in, they're charged? In other words, there is a kind of charging application.
There's 2 ways to charge. One is do it on Eventbrite, and then we connect Eventbrite to your private event.
All right.
The second way to do it, if you're not going to use Eventbrite, is when you create the event on QiqoChat, you could just say, what is the fee for this event? And then they can enter their credit card, and then they pay us.
Beautiful.
We hold the money, we subtract whatever it costs for your Zoom meeting, and then we pay you the rest.
Thank you so much.
Can you create an event without a circle?
Absolutely. You would do that up here, and my events. This is your dashboard where we're headed now. My events, add an event or a session, and then you say what circle it's in, or no circle at all.
Okay, and then is it private or public?
It'll be your choice. So
Okay.
If you want to make it private, click more options. And then this is where you customize the breakout spaces. This is where you can add custom text to rename the word room or the join video button. And here, this is what you want, security and permissions. So you're not doing it in a circle, so you can ignore this. This one's only for private circles. So here, this is what you want. Restrict participation to people with the following email addresses. Yes, and then put in their email addresses there.
Okay, great.
So they register for Kiko, they just have to register with the same email address. And if they don't, it'll say, welcome, this is a restricted event. Your email address of joe@example.com is not on the list. Please contact the organizer to get on the list.
Okay, so if you want people to join who does not have a Kiko account, you would have to make it public, basically.
They would create a Kiko account for free, and that looks like this. When they're signing in, they have all these options. So as long as their email address matches what you're asking them, what you're expecting for their event, they could sign in with Slack or Google or Facebook or Twitter. As long as it's an email match, they get in.
Okay.
They can create the Kiko account for free. You can create a Kiko account for free. You can create a circle for free. The only thing that costs money are the live events, or making the circle private, $1 per month or $1 per event. If you have private events, you could have 10 private events in a circle. It's just $1 per month for that privacy because it's in a circle.
Do I get that?
Go ahead, Simon.
Thank you. Do I get this right? If I create, for example, I have this 2-week lasting event with several events, like a big conference that I'm planning, so I can make them to a circle, pay $1 per person, and do all the events inside of this private circle, which is the big event, like the big conference over 2 weeks. That would be the setup I can make.
Yes, if you do it in a circle, it's $1 for the privacy, and then you pay per minute for Zoom costs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lucas, do you have any experience of leadership development done in QiqoChat?
We do not.
Okay.
So can you help calculating with the customer I have, because they want to know in advance what it will be like. If I win the pitch next week, it will be very fast, very interesting, because they have like a really, really tight time plan, because it was an offline event with African people, and now it's an online event, and they have like a small time frame where it happens.
Well, why don't we try to, if you're willing to experiment with the Jitsi solution, then it'll be easy for you to calculate, because it'll be a monthly fee. So we're still figuring out what is that monthly fee for using the Jitsi and your own Zoom meeting. But we'd love to obviously open this up. The thing with Jitsi is it's only going to work in Chrome.
Only going to work. Yeah, I need to know that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucas. You're a force of nature. I knew it, but just confirmed.
Nice to meet you, Adrian.
Time. A real pleasure.
Bye.
So do you have this training every Thursday?
We do.
Yeah, great, because all of my team has to learn QiqoChat then if we win the pitch and do it with the Jitsi solution very quick.
And sometimes it might be Wednesday. So if you go to the event that we held, there's a link to all the upcoming trainings.
Yeah, I couldn't find that on my, if I do it in the Google search, I can't find your events. So
that's right. They don't come up in Google. And that's part of like the protection too. So
of course, but it was hard for me to find them anywhere, because they were for me like hidden.
Yeah, that's actually protecting us right now. It's just so that we can do quality rather than quantity.
Yeah, I knew the link from Anna Carolina. Yeah.
All upcoming trainings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simona, for all those questions. I'll pause the recording, see if anybody else has anything else they'd like to share.
I just say thank you very much, because you're very quick in explaining, but you're also open for quick questions and quick answers. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's very customized. The problem with very customized things is you have to decide a lot. That's for not tech people like me, a lot to learn, but I love your solutions. So let me know about the Jitsi solutions as soon as possible.
You got it. Fantastic.
Thank you. Bye-bye for today.
Bye for today.
There is a question which is posed by Sumuk. I'm just reading it out for you. It says, is it possible to have a reply feature in the live chat? So if you can add this for Sumuk.
Okay, the live chat, I'll share my screen again. It's going to be the Kiko thing at the bottom here, which is very simplistic chat. And we don't put a lot of development into this. I don't expect it to change much. But I think that it would be great to be able to message a specific person. If you need something more robust, we would suggest finding that tool that you want for live chat, a great open source tool or a great tool that's elsewhere online, and then embed it into your event up here. So you'd say Etherpad or Notes, tab 1, Chat, tab 2. That's another option. But that's the fastest way to get great chat in. Is I don't think this one's going to change too much. We would love to if we had more resources, but at this time, I think there's so much more that we're already promising to build.
Sure. So would you recommend some website which we could link it here?
For chat?
Chatting, yes.
Okay, I will do my research. Thanks, Roshni, and I will share that here at the bottom when I send the notes out to everybody.
Sure.
I'll also say goodbye now, and thank you so much, Lucas. I'm so impressed with the tool and also the transparency of the development and everything. Really looking forward to using it.
We look forward to being partners with facilitators so that we have to have that transparency, because then they share great ideas with us and it makes the tool better. We win.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wins.
Win-win. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Bye.
Okay, one last thing from my side is if we have any more questions and we need answers, so how do we connect to you, Lucas?
Okay, there's going to be live sessions, just open office hours. So all upcoming trainings and open office hours. So for example, today's Thursday, we've got 2 on Monday, where you can just pop in, ask your questions, and then we want to do that as much as possible so we can keep the dialogue going, and also people can learn from each other. Like you're learning great answers to questions you didn't know that you had, and vice versa. So we're going to be doing that open office hour format more. You are going to receive updates of that every Monday because you're now in this circle called learn.QiqoChat.com. So every Monday, each circle has an email newsletter that goes out, and you're notified of all the upcoming events in that circle for the next 3 weeks. So you'll see all the open office hours coming up.
Sure, sure. But my particular question was for the upcoming conference, which is starting from Monday, 4th to 7th. So we have a set of volunteers, student volunteers. So for them, they would have, they have just asked 1 or 2 questions here, but I'm sure they have a lot of questions. So for that purpose, I wanted to know how can we have these questions or doubts. We plan to have a HTML landing page on QiqoChat, because all the teachers or the educators who are going to be joining the seminar, they may not be very tech savvy. So for them, these questions, Sumuk was asking, can we have this reply feature there if someone is having any doubt and he's stuck? And the HTML page, we were thinking so that we could show them all the ways they could navigate on QiqoChat.
We have to do a better job ourselves at more introduction videos. So that's definitely one of our priorities. The key that I can solve for you immediately is if you gather all your questions, try sending them to me via email. I usually respond within a few hours to answer as many as possible. Any questions that you need that are more advanced, like designing your event, we normally charge a fee when the budget is available. We can schedule a time if the budget is not available for this particular project, because I know it's very piece-oriented and it's a fantastic project that we want to see succeed. We'll be there for you. So schedule some time, put it on our calendar through email, and we will have another talk like this just for your team.
Sure. Thank you for that.
If you want, you're asking about that reply in chat, and I was thinking, if you join the Google group, that's in the links down below, that's another great way to ask a question that you'll get an answer not just from me, but from other facilitators too.
Okay, so where is this link? You said you have pasted here.
Okay. Google group, let's see. Here we go, line 78.
Lucas, I have a question.
Yes, Rohit.
So we can use any website and integrate it into the room, right? Breakout room.
Some websites do not permit embedding, and you just want to practice to see if it'll work before you depend on it. So I'll show an example of that. Let's see. Let's say Mural. Mural does not permit embedding. So when I go to edit, more options, I want to put Mural in here. I'll leave an empty line just so that we don't overwrite our notes page. Our notes page would not be deleted, it just wouldn't be visible. So I will say, because some people might be coming into the page looking for it right now. So I'll say http mural.co, which I think is the right website. And you'll see what it looks like when it doesn't work here. It's like your browser will say it didn't permit the embedding. Let's go, that was in room 1. And see, nothing shows up here. If you do right click, inspect, then you'll see an error when you click console, and it'll say something like this. Let's see. Okay, first it says you has to be with HTTPS. So we put in with an HTTP link. So that's one of the tips we have here. Even I forget it. Got to put an S on there because Kiko is a secure page, so it can only embed secure pages. So I'll click update and then I'll refresh that page here. Let's see what we get. Does Mural show down here? No. You get this, whatever website you're trying to embed, refuse to connect. So Mural and Miro are the two most common tools. Jamboard would be number 3, but that's why we stick with the Google Suite, because it doesn't have those embedding problems. And there's a lot of other tools that will permit embedding. The error message you're going to see is something related to iframes. So.
So, hello, Lucas.
Yes, please.
Can we have a lower bandwidth version of QiqoChat because people may have problem with their bandwidth?
We need to develop that for you, yes. Does Zoom work for your audience?
I'm not quite aware about it, but I think we are holding a conference, so we may have problem related to bandwidth.
Well,
so I was just...
the one thing that immediately comes to me is people can call in with their phone. Could that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay, so in your event, I'll go back to down here, call in info for all the breakouts. Click on that, and it takes a while. Let me move Zoom out of the way so that I can get there. So it takes a while, and it's going to show you the phone number for each of your breakout rooms. So you can email this to people.
Okay.
So it says call this, but if you're calling outside the United States, check out Zoom's international phone numbers rather than this one. And then if you want to get to the central garden, you're telling people, this is the meeting ID. So use this phone number and this meeting ID, or this phone number and this meeting ID for all the different gardens.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And what we can do about low bandwidth is also on the left-hand side here. We can not display the profile icons. And I think we're going to make it an option so that it's per user. So if you feel you're on low bandwidth, click low bandwidth, and then you won't get all these updates of who's jumping to which room, and it should be a little easier for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep, great. Thank you for that.
Sir, can you please explain the plenary feature?
So you have a main room. This is where everybody arrives. And you can connect that to a Zoom webinar if you want to. Zoom webinars are good for plenary sessions because everybody's listening. So you can have 1,000 people listening. QiqoChat does not yet work for 1,000 people. We believe it does. We haven't confirmed it. We have our first event with 1,000 people in about 10 days. So we'll speak more confidently after that happens. So we expect it's going to work great, but we're not selling that at this moment. So when you are asking about plenary feature, what else do you have in mind?
So like for the ETST conference, we are going to have people registering for it. And so if there would be people like many celebrity personalities like Azim Premji addressing all of us, so where would it be?
I would put it in the main room, but when people launch Zoom, they're not going to get a webinar. They get exactly what you and I have here, which is 300 people is the max, unless you tell us and we can make it 500 or 1,000. That's what, according to Zoom, those are the maxes. So everybody will be on a Zoom meeting and everybody can talk. And this is where you would do the plenary, kind of like what I'm doing here, where you share your screen. That's what I would recommend. The person who's sharing their screen, they're doing the plenary.
So, but what if some of the people are in some other circles and they are not attending this event?
Lucas, I think what she wants to ask is if we can pull all the people from other rooms into the main room.
We cannot pull them out of one Zoom meeting to put them in another Zoom meeting. But inside one Zoom meeting, you can push them into regular Zoom breakouts. They're not going to go down to room 1, 2, 3, 4. They will stay in the main room, and you're moving them inside Zoom, and then you can pull them back. That's Zoom's standard breakout functionality. If you want them to be in their own rooms and you want to pull them back,
Yes.
we can't pull them back, but what you can do is you click admin controls and here, set the timer. So you could set the timer to count down, then they have to know to come themselves. Or you can notify the breakout rooms, please return to the main. And it shows up like this, but they're only gonna see it if they're seeing QiqoChat. If Zoom is covering it, they won't see it. The other thing that you can do is your team can go, okay, we got 5 minutes remaining. You can go into each room and say, just, you know, hold up a sign that says 5 minutes remaining, and then you head out. Maybe they want to come, maybe they don't, but we cannot pull them back. If we're using Jitsi, then we can pull them back, but that is not yet built and released for the public. We've just done the experiment that you saw here today about 45 minutes ago. We've done that earlier in the week with about 15 people, 10 people, something around there, and they're jumping between breakouts. We can pull them all back to one main room, but we can't do that yet. It's going to happen, but it's not a capability that we've released publicly yet. So with Jitsi, yes. With Zoom, only if you're using Zoom breakouts, not Kiko breakouts with all the different rooms. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Great,
Thank
great.
you.
You're welcome, very welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I look forward to working with you on your conference.
Bye.
Bye. And so for everybody who watched to the end, you can find more of these tutorials at learn.QiqoChat.com/events. That's where we post all these weekly trainings and also our open office hours. You can reach me at lucas@QiqoChat.com. That's LUCAS at QiqoChat.com. Phone number in the United States, 917-528-1831. That's my number directly. Okay, thanks very much for your time. Have a great day.